I have a lot of questions, and one question comes to mind is when you got this news, you said you had a support network. How, other than telling Kim, how did you tell everyone? I heard someone the other day that they started a private Facebook group to manage kind of the traffic, the communication. What did you do to communicate with others?
Well, the first thing that I did was, I told Kim that was the first thing. Then we brought my daughters over and their husbands, and I told them. I told my mom, my immediate family. Um, I told them, and then there were some friends that I told. Um, and at first, Richard, I had asked. I said, you know what? I don't want to publicize this because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. Because people do. A lot of times they go, "Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you're going through this." Look, don't be sorry. Just pray for me. Pray that things go better and things get better. So finally, I think after a month or so, or 2 months, I decided, you know what? I'm going to put it on Facebook. I didn't create a private group. I didn't do anything. I wrote kind of my story, my journey, because this is a journey. I looked at it as chapters. Chapter 1 was me going through chemo and ringing that bell at the end of chemo. Chapter 2 was radiation. End of that, I rung the bell. Chapter 3, I had the surgery. That was the closing of that chapter. Chapter 4 is the journey that I'm on now. They're watching, they're monitoring, they're checking, they're staying on top of everything and watching to see if anything else is going to happen. I'm on what's the word that I'm looking for? A clinical trial of where with my blood that it's matched to my DNA, set up to my DNA. So if there's a chance for the cancer to come back, or if I'm at a higher risk, because once you've had cancer, you're automatically at a higher risk.
Right.
So it's if my blood numbers go positive, then they'll know there's something there and they can start pinpointing and go after. One of the things that we always ask and says, okay, well, if something does show up and it is cancer, well, you've caught it early enough and it's like stage 1 or something. And the oncologist says no, because he's already had cancer, because I've already had it. I'm automatically would be stage 4.
Wow.
So, and that's something I never knew about. I thought, okay, well, the cancer's gone. They start over, and they go, no, if you ever get it again, it's because it's, I guess, more, you've got a higher risk. So you're automatically a higher stage. So, which is weird, but I'm not going to question them. They're the ones that are the professionals and they know what they're doing. But like I said, I just put it out on Facebook that, my story. My wife shared it, on her Instagram thing. And, she shared there was a lady that she was following on Instagram or TikTok or something like on one of them, that her husband was going through pretty much the same thing, but he had struggles where they had to stop his chemo and they had all different things. They were doing different things on him. And so she finally, let me stop just a minute. Kim is a lot of times very private person. And she holds things close to her chest. And it's hard for her to let go, to open up stuff like that to other than family. So she finally opened up to this lady about what I was going through. So that, to me, I think that helped her with, helped her support wise, because it's not just the person going through the cancer that needs the support. It's also your spouse, your loved one, or whoever is there going through it with you. I mean, I went through it physically, emotionally, mentally. She went through it mentally and emotionally, and it will wreck you. For us, it made us stronger. I mean, it solidifies a lot of things. How well is your faith? How well is your faith? How well is your love for one another? And it brought us to that. I think it brought us closer together. Because it's my ostomy nurse, she came over after I got home from the hospital and was telling us a story of, one of her patients that she went and saw, and the wife flat out told her, I didn't sign up for this. Sure you did. When you married them and said in sickness and in health, you signed up for it. So that's, it's tough.
It sounds like you have an amazing wife. We look forward to seeing her on here. I know she had some things that she was doing, and we look forward to having her. Let me ask you this. What would you say has been one of the biggest challenges? And you've had several, and your journey keeps happening, but during the cancer, while it was active, what would you say the biggest challenge was?
The biggest challenge to me it was not getting depressed. Having those, going, well, yeah, I'm not going to get depressed. I'm not that guy. Trying to keep that brave face, but knowing that at times when I come home that I do have those moments of depression, and, again, being that, why me, why did it happen to me? But then turn around and go, you know what? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, because if I go down that rabbit hole, then I'm going to get lost down there. And that is something that I did not want to do. Is I did not want to get lost in the pity, in the, in the sadness, in the sorrow. So I just, when I was down, Kim would pull me back up. She would be the one that was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter, telling me, you've got this. My daughter's dad, you've got this. You can do this. If anybody's going to kick this in the butt, you're going to do it. You've got this. So that really, Richard, was my biggest challenge, was not letting myself go down that dark hole.
That makes total sense. And look, if for everybody who's listening, Gary's trained by the United States Navy, served and retired, entrepreneur, is getting out there riding 150, 200 miles a week. I mean, he's picture perfect human, and yet, get struck with this, and just like all of us, has some down times. And, he's telling you right now what he did to battle through it. And it sounds like you didn't go on an island, Gary, that you were open to your wife. You were telling her what you were feeling, and your daughter. And man, I'm so glad you have this support network. Let me ask you this, Gary. If you had to do this all over again, what's one thing that you wish you would have known? Let's say you were talking to someone that's just going into this. What's something that you wish you would have known?
Well, I wish I would have listened to my body, sooner, sooner than later. And went to, not waited to do a colonoscopy, not waited to, knowing that, hey, if something wasn't feeling right, go see the doctor. I'm a guy, I'm stubborn, I'm hard-headed. I'm like, this ain't nothing. I can get through it. So that, looking back at that is the one thing I wish I would have done. If I had to go through it again, and Lord knows I don't want to go through it again, but I know if I have to, I've got the support group, I've got the family, I've got the friends, I've got the, I've got the prayer warriors. Biggest thing, listen to your body, because it knows you best. Whether you think it's nothing or a little thing, something, don't say, well, I can fix it with over-the-counter medication. Well, you don't know what you're talking about, because we think we do, but we don't. So listen to your body. Go get checked. Do your screenings. When they recommend, hey, do this at this age, do it. Don't wait. I waited a couple years beyond what I probably should have, because I'm like, I feel good. Yeah, I'm in good health. I ride a bike. I'm doing this. I'm not overweight. My health is good. So I don't need this. Well, then to me, God kind of slowed me down and said, yeah, I think you do need this. So yeah, it's time for you to wake up and, smell the coffee or something.
Absolutely. Well, Gary, what you're saying is right on time. This is Men's Health Awareness month of June, and you're telling people to go out there, get screened, listen to your body, and for anybody that's watching this, they just lowered the age. It used to be 50 for colonoscopies, now it's 45.
Yep.
And if you happen to have cancer in your family, it could be sooner. Like my children, they have to get scanned at 35 because I was found at 45. So
yeah, mine are going to have to be scanned early now.
Yeah, it's we don't want our kids to have to go through that, but we definitely don't want them to go through what you've went through, Gary, and what you're going through now. And I have to commend you. Your love for the Lord and your positive attitude is just radiating out of this video. And I've had the privilege of talking to Gary in person multiple times, and this is how he is all the time. And I want to encourage y'all, be like Gary. If you're watching this right now and you've just faced a bad diagnosis, or you're sitting there waiting for something to come down the pipe, positive mindset, positive attitude, that's the way Gary does it. And your love for the Lord. I have to ask you though, Gary, I know you love the Lord, you love your family. What did you do? I know you were riding the bike up for a certain amount of time. Did you pick up journaling? Did you become a painter? What did you do during your downtimes when you couldn't do what you normally did?
Well, my journaling was Kim. She did the journaling. She took that up and she wrote every doctor's appointment, everything. Hey, this happened this day. Gary is feeling like this. For me, I played video games.
Nice.
I would, to take my mind off, and I stayed working as long as I could. I mean, I worked up until, the week, actually 3 days before my surgery, as much as I could. As the chemo, a lot of times I would have to take, after my chemo, I would have to take maybe 4 days off because it would just start dragging me down, and I wasn't any good to anybody. So it was best for me to get better before I went back. But me again being that guy, that dude, I can do this. I'm going to be the one to fight through it. And I had friends of mine tell me, Gary, you look like crap. I'm like, really? I don't feel like I do. And when somebody says, yeah, you look kind of gray, or you look this, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to be here then. So, again, that's all part of listening to your body. Don't be that guy that, hey, I can do this. Listen to your body, follow what it says. The recovery period from my surgery, it was, at times getting up just to get up and walk around. Kim would have to help me, and I would walk around my couch 2 times. That was a victory. Walk into the front door and back. So each time it just got a little better. But that was during the downtime, or during those times I stayed active. You have to, stay active to the best that you can, because if not, your mind will start going down that rabbit hole again, going down that dark highway, and it's something you don't want to do. So you have to do stuff to keep your mind occupied, to keep you occupied, and just keep you going, knowing that, hey, I've got something to look forward to.
Yes, sir.
So that was, like I said, the journaling is her. I've thought about it. I've thought about doing YouTube. I've thought about doing something on Instagram. So, Richard, thank you. This is my story.
Well, we love your story, Gary, and it takes a lot to share. Especially the kind of stuff that you're sharing. You're being very vulnerable, and we appreciate it. That we hope that anyone watching this will heed your advice to listen to their body, go get screened, And, you know, if nothing's going on in your body and you're hitting that age, go get screened. I want to encourage you all.
Absolutely.